This Pokemon VMAX can heal a huge amount of damage from itself while also dealing big damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. Roll the intro. What is going on, everybody? Hitmonchan here, back again with another Pokemon trading card game deck tech, and today I wanted to talk about Heatran VMAX. This is a card that I absolutely think is really cool and actually really interesting. I know a lot of people think like, oh, you know, it's not super good, whatever, but I think it actually has some potential, and my deck list here has been very good, very consistent, and it has been winning me games, just plain and simple. There's a lot of decks that just can't deal with this card, and I'm going to show you why. The coolest thing about this card is Heatran VMAX's Magma Gain ability, where once during your turn, if you have a stadium in play, you just heal 50 damage from this Pokemon. Just for free. That's it. You can heal 50 damage from your active Heatran V. But the thing is, even your bench Heatran V can heal themselves too. So this Pokemon can be in the active and heal itself, can be on the bench and heal itself. It can just heal itself as long as you have Stadium in play, which makes it really powerful. And even its attack is not bad at all, and I'd actually say it's quite good. For a fire, and colorless energy, you can use Max Heat Burst for 180 damage, which automatically burns your opponent's active Pokemon. Now, that's an automatic 200 damage, and if they stay burned, that's 220. That's enough to knock out most Pokemon V, if not all of them at this point. And it's really powerful because it combines super well with the Magma Basin Stadium, where once during each player's turn, you can attach a fire energy card from your discard to one of your bench fire Pokemon, and then put 2 damage counters on that. So if you have a Heatran V on the bench and you have a Magma Basin in play, you can attach a fire energy from the discard, accelerating the energy to it, putting 2 damage counters on it, but then when you evolve into Heatran VMAX next turn, you can heal all the damage that you put on with Magma Basin in just one go for an ability for free. Now for our draw engine in here, we do have the Bibarel engine, the Industrious Incisors ability, so we can fill our hand to 5 cards once during our turn. And we also have Radiant Greninja to help us draw some more cards as well with the Concealed Cards ability, where we can discard an energy and just draw 2 cards. This also combines really well with the Magma Basin that I mentioned before. I've also opted to add one Crobat V in this deck because I do find there are some times where you really have a bunch of Pokemon search in your hand, but you need to draw cards, and Crobat V is great for that. You can fit out your hand, use Quick Balls and Ultra Balls, and just get a Crobat V, draw a bunch of cards, and that can really help you get going in the early game. And having Crobat in play isn't actually so bad when you consider you're playing one Collapsed Stadium in the deck, so we can discard that Crobat V once we play it if we have a full bench, which can actually happen quite often if you get set up well enough. Now for other cards, this card is a healing deck. Heatran VMAX is a HP monster with 330 basic HP. Slap a Big Charm on that, and that is 360 HP. Now, add Heat Energy on it, which we play 4 of, and it gets 20 more HP for each Heat Energy that is on it. So if you have 1 Heat Energy on it and a Big Charm, that HP goes to 380. If you have 2 Heat Energy and a Big Charm, that HP goes to 400 HP. That is not enough for even some Pokemon to 2-shot. They have to 3-shot it at that point, which makes this card actually really strong. This card is really good because of the use of Heat Energy. And now we have a bunch of healing cards too to keep our Heatran VMAXs healthy, and we keeping them safe, and we're keeping their HP super high. We have 4 Lucky Ice Pop where you can heal 20 damage, flip a coin, and if you get heads, you can put that Lucky Ice Pop back into your hand. Really good card for healing decks. We also have the new Sweet Honey card where you can choose one of your Pokemon and flip a coin till you get tails. For each heads, heal 40 damage from that Pokemon. Most of the time when I play this card, I'm healing anywhere between 80 and 120 damage. If on average, I'll say. There's some times where you get 40, there's some times where you get 0 and it sucks, and there's some times where you go crazy with like 200 damage or whatever. But this card is actually really good. We only play 2 in this deck, but it can come in clutch. We also play 2 Team Yell Towels that just heal 50 damage from both active Pokemon. And if our opponent's active Pokemon is already damaged, we heal 50 from them. That's fine because Heatrans max heat burst attack is usually two-shotting most Pokemon anyway. And other than that, in the deck, we play one Cook to just heal straight 70. We play one Pokemon Center Lady to heal 60 and remove special conditions. We play 4 Quick Ball. We play 4 Ultra Ball, 2 Switch, some other standard supporter cards, but the only other thing I want to make note of is the 1 Scoop Up Net here. The Scoop Up Net is really good because it'll actually allows you to reset Radiant Greninja's ability, so you can conceal cards twice in a turn, which is super powerful. And also, if you have a Bibarel stuck in the active and another Bidoof on the bench, you can Industrious Incisors, scoop up that Bibarel, send up a Heatran, and then play the other Bidoof, like evolve it into a Bibarel and use Industrious Incisors again. So the 1 of Scoop Up Net in here, I really like. Might actually bump it to a 2 of because you can use Radiant Greninja a bunch of times in a row if you have energy in your hand. But we only play 11 energy, so you can't go too crazy with that, even though we have Magma Basin to accelerate them back onto our Pokemon. So that is my list. Really quick, before we get into the video, I want to remind everybody to like this video and subscribe to the channel. I am coming out with new Pokemon trading card game deck techs super often, weekly at this point. Gonna be twice weekly very soon if I can get things running and rolling how I want them to. So please subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers. We're at 80 as of the time of recording, so we are getting pretty close. So yeah, that would mean the world to me. And as always, comment your thoughts down below on this deck, and let's go ahead and see it in action. My opponent called the coin flip and we won. Like I say, tails never fails. We're gonna go first. Going first for this deck is really good because you want to get a Heatran VMAX up super quickly. But we're gonna get rolling here. Let's see what we got. 2 mulligans in a row, not ideal, but we do only play a certain amount of basic Pokemon in here. Pretty low amount, might I say. My opponent, they know we're playing Heatran VMAX, but you know what? That's okay. It's completely fine with me because I don't think they're ready to deal with the absolute monster that Heatran VMAX is. So we are just going to take our mulligan right here. Hopefully get a good starting hand. We do start with a Heatran and an Energy and an Ultra Ball, so that's actually really good. We're just going to start with that. We'll see what we draw into. If we can get an Energy, we can go ahead and get a Greninja out. We're playing against the Regis. We do get an Energy, so we're just going to go ahead and attach that. We're going to Ultra Ball away this not the Energy, but we're going to Ultra Ball away, I guess, the Boss and the Ice Pop. And maybe we will just go ahead and grab Greninja. Our Crobat is prized, which is good to know. We're going to grab this Greninja here, play him onto the bench, and use concealed cards to discard that energy and draw 2 more cards. Now, we do get a Heat Energy, but I don't really want to discard right now. Then again, the chances that they knock this Heatran V out are pretty low, but not impossible. So we're just going to go ahead and scoop up this Greninja, play it back down, and use concealed cards once again to draw 2 more cards. We draw into another Heatran, which is actually really good, and a Fire Energy, so we can guarantee the attack next turn, which is what I like to see. We're going to need to get a draw supporter, hopefully. It might have been good to get a Bidoof out there, but that's okay. I think the Greninja actually paid off. That Scoop Up Net came in clutch because it thinned our deck down a little bit and allowed us to get 2 cards that are hopefully going to be, even a boss would be good to stall out a little bit. Heatran VMAX would be really good to have, so they can't easily one-shot it unless they get Regi-Box into play. But our start here is actually pretty good. They're taking out the Regi-Ice. If they want to knock out Heatran V, my mistake, they need to power up this Regi-Ice and put a Choice Belt on it, but that's all they're going to do. So we're actually in really good shape. We're going to go ahead and bump that with the Magma Basin. Go for a concealed cards to draw some more cards, and we do get the Marnie, so we're going to go ahead and Magma Basin to our bench Heatran, and then we're just going to go for a nice clean Marnie. Now, it might Marnie my opponent into some good hand, but that's okay. We actually get a pretty decent hand here ourselves. We're going to go ahead, play that Bidoof down. We have more energy in the discard, which is fine, so we're going to go just attach here and go for the Heat Burn for 30 damage. Burning my opponent, putting it to 50 damage done. Let's see. They are not going to heal from the burn, so that burn is going to slowly whittle them away. But I'm kind of expecting a Scoop Up Net here to come eventually. But they are going to put the Choice Belt down onto the Regi-Ice. They got no energy in discard, but they do have a Marnie, so no research is going to be coming out here. They are going to play the Aurora Energy, discarding something from their hand. It's going to be the Marnie, so they must have a research in hand, which is what I figured. Now they really need to find a switching option, a Regi-Box, and a way to get a lot of energy into the discard. So, like, granted, it's not impossible, but they got the Energy Lotto. So we're just gonna have to wait and see what they do. Another Roar Energy. They just need to get one more energy into the discard pile in order, and a Regigigas, and I almost forgot they need a Registeel as well in order to do a bunch of damage here. So they have the Ultra Ball, which they're going to be using to discard another energy. So they are an energy, so they are close to getting set up. They have the Gigas, but do they have the Registeel? That is my question for you here today. They already attached from hand, so they're going to go ahead and Ordinary Rod, just putting a Regi-Ice back, maybe trying to thin one card out so they can use the Dragon's Horde ability, drawing an extra card, see what they get if it is what they need. But I don't think they have any combination of cards that allows them to knock out our Heatran V here, which puts us in a crazy good spot, because depending on what we draw, we can play the Ultra Ball and get a Bibarel out. They're going to go for the Scoop Up Net and probably bring up the Regieleki, which, yes, they are going for a solid, hey, Static Shock for 20. You know what? Can't complain about that. It's a free 20 damage. But unfortunately for them, my opponent is going to get knocked out this coming turn. So we're going to use Magma Basin to power this up. And I'm going to go for the Ultra Ball. It's the safe play here. We need to get a Bibarel online. We have 3 Heatran VMAX in deck, so I'm confident we'll at least hit an out to one of them. We just are going to Industrious first because we have pretty low hand. Get the energy, which is really, really good. I'm going to attach that first off. Or we'll go ahead and Quick Ball away this Cook. And grab ourselves another Bidoof. So we're getting pretty close to a full bench here, which is actually not too bad. Go for the research, and we just need to hit a VMAX so we can start doing a work. We actually don't hit a VMAX, which is really, really strange. But that's okay, because we can go ahead and Magma Fall for a solid 180 damage because we have the stadium in play. Taking our prize, which is going to be a Fire Energy, so we are going to be good to go to hit another Heatran V completely set up. Now, my opponent here, they have to have a, like I said, pretty specific combination of cards. They need the Regieleki and a Registeel onto their bench, and they have the necessary energy in the discard, I believe. They only need 2, which is what they have. And then they're going to be good to go, but the question is, how are they going to get there? They have the research, so it is very possible, but they are all Ordinary Rods down. They're going to need to draw into their cards, which they have the Registeel. They have Stormy Mountains, they got the Regieleki, which they do. So this Heatran V is unfortunately going to be knocked out here, but I'm actually not super upset about that. They're only taking 2 prizes, and we're going to hopefully, fingers crossed, be able to send a VMAX up. We can even get another V down. But they're going to go for the Blizzard Bind, just straight destroying our Heatran V. Now, my opponent's going to set this Regigigas up here, which is going to be a bit of a challenge for Heatran VMAX, especially because we are down 1 Heat Energy, and we need to get a Big Charm. We need to find a bunch of our healing cards in order to, as they say in the business, go crazy. We're going to draw into a Heat Energy, which is really good. Get a quick shuffle with Stormy Mountains. Go ahead and play the Magma Basin down. First of all, I think concealed cards is the way to go. We get another Bibarel, so we have access to some more draw. I think Marnie is the correct choice right now. Our Heatran V is beefy. He's got a lot of HP, and we do find our VMAX and a Big Charm, which is really, really good. So we're bumping our HP up an extra 50, bringing it all the way to 380, which is super, super solid. We're just going to go for the huge Magma gain, healing all damage. And we can just go for Industrious 1 and see what we can find. A Quick Ball is good. We'll actually get rid of that Ultra Ball. And we'll get a Heatran V out, basically making them go through 3 Heatran in total. Because we can start Magma Basing to it to get it powered up. My opponent has already... They haven't gone through any of their boss, but we don't even know how much they play. So we're just gonna go for the Max Heat Burst, taking a knockout on the Regi-Ice. Now we take our prize here. It's gonna be Big Charm. That's also huge for our Heatran V because we can Magma Basin and then just Sweet Honey to heal it, hopefully. My opponent is gonna need quite a bit to take out our Heatran VMAX. They're gonna be doing 300 against the VMAX, 330 against our Heatran, but we have the Big Charm and we have the Heat Energy, so we're actually going to be able to survive that with ease, unless they find like 3 powerful energy as well, which is going to be tough for them, maybe, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. We have to switch in hand so we can put the Greninja up, get this Heatran set up, and then go for our last Heatran VMAX. My opponent's just going to research. They are zooming through their deck here. They need to find another Regi-Ice, but one's in the discard, and they have no more Rod left, if I know correctly. And they just need to dig and find that Regi-Ice. If that Regi-Ice is prized, then my opponent is pretty much done for. But we'll have to wait and see what they do here, because they might just be stuck, and they might have committed to their only actual winnable option here. See, it's good to know what our opponent has played in this matchup specifically, because if they're out of rods and they have a capture, so let's see if the Regi-Ice is actually in the deck. It is, so they're going to be able to power up their Regigigas, but they need twin energies. So they can go for the Scoop Up Net. They are actually going to save it and go for the Blizzard Bind with Regi-Ice, which is actually a-okay with me, and I'm going to show you why. Because they can stop our Pokemon from attacking, but if we knock this Regi-Ice out, which I can tell you we will, my opponent is not going to have a way to continue playing the game unless somehow they play a fourth Ordinary Rod, which they very well might. But we'll just have to see. They're going to go for the Blizzard Bind for a clean 200 damage, but that's okay. Our Heatran can attack. I'm fine with that. We're going to go ahead and play this Magma Basin first and foremost, attached to our benched Heatran. Now, our play... We'll play Lucky Charm first and foremost. We need that. And we need to Magma Gain. We know this. We know all these things for sure. Now the play here is we switch and retreat. Like, that's the obvious choice, right? We just switch into Radiant Greninja, attach this, and retreat back into our Heatran, which allows us to attack again. We're not going to do that just yet. First, we're going to play the Sweet Honey card, and we're going to see how many heads we can get. 2 heads, 80 damage healed. That's all right. We're going to go ahead and Lucky Ice Pop. See how much more we can get healed here. Nothing. But we have Industrious Incisors, and as you can see, not a lot of cards left in our deck. We have Team Meow Towel, which we can just use, and then boom, our Heatran's fully healed. And guess what? We can actually Center Lady this Heatran V, get him healed as well, and then we can max Heat Burst, taking out the Regi-Ice. And I don't think there's anything my opponent can actually do here, because if they don't have access to another Regi-Ice in their deck, then they're kind of screwed. We have the Heat Energy, so we can just make our Heatran VMAX even more tanky, and it's going to be one-shotting them even more. They can pass to the peak, but that does not matter. That doesn't matter to us. They have the 4th Ordinary Rod. I was lying the whole time. They need to find their Regi-Ice, but I think we're actually so far ahead that there might not be much they can do, especially with a 4-card hand and no Dragon Sword access right now. They got the Twin Energy, so they really need to get a Regi-Ice off of this single card, which, hey, with their luck, I wouldn't be surprised. But looking at our discard really quickly, we've played 3 Magma Basin, but no Collapsed Stadium, and we have a 4th for sure. And just like that, we take the victory against the Regi-Box deck. Pretty tough matchup because of their path to the peaks and their Blizzard Bind Regi-Ice, but Heatran VMAX, being the HP monster that it is, takes the dub. So what did you think of my Heatran VMAX deck? I really like this card. I'm actually planning on building it IRL. I think the deck is really fun to play. It can be ironed out a little bit though. I do notice that though the deck is consistent and it wins me a lot of games, there are some times where I'll dead draw and just get lucky, or my opening hands are like completely useless and I can't do anything with them. It happens with every deck, but the times I find that it happens with this deck can be easily prevented, and I'm going to show you why right now. This is the portion of the video where I showcase what the certain changes I think should be made to the deck. So first and foremost, the Crobat V is really helpful in here. This was something that was not in my original list, but I think it belongs in any Heatran list. Same thing with the Radiant Greninja. It's super needed. You can't cut these cards. Having the 5 stadium count is also necessary, but the one thing I would like to potentially add is a choice belt. Now you may be thinking, well, this deck is super based around using Big Charm and just making a massive Heatran. That's true. I'm not going to argue with you there. However, adding a choice belt actually allows our Heatran to take one-shots on basic Pokemon V, because Max Heat Burst is doing 180, 200 with the burn. But with the choice belt, it's doing 210, 230 with the burn, which knocks out every single Pokemon V, essentially donking your opponent if you can go first. which is really, really powerful. I've been thinking of building this card in a Turbo Mew sort of way, with less healing and more focus on attacking, thanks to Magma Basin, and just getting the occasional here or there, heal here or there. But I do like my list so far. Even something else I might change. I might switch out a Sweet Honey for a Hyper Potion. Getting a guaranteed heal of 120, other than a potential heal, is really powerful. But then again, you don't want to be discarding Heat Energies if they're all on one Heatran, because that's doing more harm than good. But I think this list is really, really solid. You can even throw in a Cheryl if you really want to. Like, you can switch out a Cook or a Pokemon Center Lady, maybe even a Center Lady, because special conditions aren't super prevalent right now. I don't think they ever will be, like, in the foreseeable future, at least. So you can just swap in a Cheryl for a Center Lady, and to get a massive heal, like if your Heatran is, like, really, really struggling and you're out of heal cards, just get a huge heal to keep the game going. But I do find this deck does run through its cards really, really fast. So a potential other good addition could be a Judge, which can shuffle, draw 4, or another Marnie, which puts your hand to the bottom of your deck and just draws you 5. And it disrupts your opponent as well. So it really does depend on what your playstyle is with this deck. Having the heal focus deck, I think, is really, really, really cool. I think it's super, super strong. Like, there's not enough healing decks. The only other good card is basically Dracozolt, which I might revisit in the future, or visit in the future, like for a deck tech video, but I don't know if it's worth it. But you know what, we'll wait and see. As always, that will be it for this video. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel. Like I said, we're trying to hit 100 subscribers in the near future. So if you can subscribe to the channel, that would really, really help us out. And hey, you know what? Don't forget, I upload deck techs every single week. It's going to become twice a week very soon if I can get the ball rolling even more. So you don't want to miss out on the crazy decks that I'm creating, such as Heatran VMAX, the crazy fun decks, and the crazy cool decks that I have in the pipeline coming soon. Even some expanded content, which is going to be really, really enjoyable to make, and I hope to watch anyway. And I also want you to comment down below, what are your thoughts on this deck? Because the cards used in this deck are, you know, they're pretty standard. But if you have another cool way to play Heatran VMAX, please let me know down below any changes you would make, or even if I misplayed, you know, it's important to tell me. I find it's important, at least, to tell me if I misplayed or if there's something I could have done better, because hey, we're all learning all the time, and I think those only make me a better content creator and player. So other than that, everybody, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, Hitmonchanting out.